Warning: this podcast may contain spoilers as well as coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to another Steins Biweekly. We're here to talk about episodes 7 and 8. It's been a hell of a past 2 weeks, and this time we have our first guest for the series on. Thank you for joining us, Alphabits. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thanks for joining us. And since you're the first guest, I'll just refer to you as Alpha because you're the alpha guest.
He's now stronger and better than every guest that walks into this bi-weekly podcast.
I mean, naturally.
Nice.
Yeah, he's evolved beyond them. And then we also have a ton of Bacon, who looks like he's evolving in his picture still.
Yes, I'm gonna take that first bite one way or the other. I'm gonna bite the burger.
It's been like weeks and you still have not bitten the burger.
It's that big. I need to unhinge my jaw and just...
it'll get there one day. One day. But you, as a random suggestion, this is from Love Live Sunshine, you should watch it and come to Idle Hell with me. You know what? I tried watching Love Live once and it cheered me up, so you know what? I might actually give it a shot.
Yes! I got another one. I got another one, guys!
I might have to. We might have to after this episode. And as you guys know, I'm shocking normally, but this week I'm just shooketh. There's no shaking. I'm just straight shook from
that's
this.
an ongoing thing in each of the chats. We're like, I'm very shooketh from this last...
Oh, I was watching this with some friends, and yeah, like at the end of the... Actually, just at the end of the first of the two episodes, we just kind of like agreed, you know what? There's probably like a god out there who just kind of has it out for Okabe at this point.
Yeah.
Dude,
if there's a god, he hates Okabe, like, a lot.
Oh god, he really does.
Well, he is a scientist, and so for what we know, scientists hate God, and God hates
What's
science.
a god to a mad scientisto?
I mean,
who knows?
I mean, you know what? The theme song just kind of says there is no god and it's a wonderful new world. So that's probably right. That's probably okay.
Yes, and
no,
as a religious person, that's I'm not too offended. But every time I see that line, I'm like, go on.
You're Bacon, you sound like God laughing at him. You're just laughing at him. Like, I do think, like, so, like, just to get it out of the way before I start talking about being shook, like, I feel like I was, like, really, like, distraught this episode, especially, like, for episode 8, but I just couldn't help but notice, like, every time they show Okabe, it's just, like, a new form of, like, pained reactions. Like, they just, like, I just, like, kept, like, I was like, oh yeah, Okabe is pained on the bridge, like, Okabe is pained in, like,
this season's suffering. Like, what last year was who's suffering? Subaru from freaking
that was like 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago?
Yeah,
oh my god, what year is it? Oh, my head.
What year? What timeline?
What world line am I on? I thought it was last year.
Yeah, oh god, have I changed world lines?
I know, yeah. No, the one thing that... So if we start from, like, episode, 7, at the big standoff with all the guns and stuff. So the one thing I was laughing about was how easily Braun disarmed, like, most of those guys.
He just, like, slayed them so easily.
Yeah, just pop, done.
Mr. Braun is, like, really buff in the first place, but even... actually, you know what, no, he is like, the rounder leader. He's pretty good at fighting, I guess.
That's true,
yeah. Well, he was, yeah. Well, yeah, because a lot of people were talking about how they're, like, at the end of episode 6, right before episode 7, they were like, oh, like, CERN is back. But no, it's not CERN, because they're not really relevant in this timeline. So it's another group tracking them down, and they still have goofy masks and guns.
And that would it's such a weird coincidence. Like every group that wants to do with time travel just kind of has this one band of anonymous thugs, and they're like, okay, so here's the time travel masks. They make you look kind of scary and make you.
What if it's like the same?
The show?
It's the same group of like thugs with guns.
Yeah.
Like, why do we keep getting hired to hunt down scientists? What's with this? Can we get another heist?
They keep going back to the same lab, the same college students, like the usual stuff.
But just under a different company that's hiring for different amounts of money. Like, we'll go again.
Times are tough.
They kind of get to the point where they're kind of like, I don't really want to kill him. He's kind of like getting us paid.
You're right.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
He's helping us out. But yeah, so as we like realize that like Mr. Braun is like helping them out now, and then they kind of like after he like badassly takes down this group of hired gunmen, Okabe is like, yeah, we're gonna try and coerce him into, like, keeping Kaguri safe, which is a bold move, but, I mean, he's just sad all the time, so he doesn't have much to lose, but...
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah. So then, well, I guess there's, like, more moping, so to speak, but I guess, like, the big thing from these past 2 episodes is Okabe not actually time traveling, but he's reading Steiner, still activates, and he's now back into the timeline where Kurisu is alive and Mayuri is dead.
Oh
yeah, I actually had to like go back afterwards and rewatch the after credits scene from the first episode just because I was kind of confused when I turned on the second one. I'm like, wait, when did this happen?
Yeah,
why is Kurisu back?
Yeah, because you kind of feel like you're gonna miss it, like, really quickly, because you're like, a lot of stuff is going on, but then, all of a sudden, he's in a new timeline.
Yeah,
right away, I was like, oh god, this can't be good, but then, when we saw Kurisu, I was like, this is good, oh my god,
this is the best timeline.
I'm so happy, but then, the entire 2 episodes, and mostly episode 8, took me on, like, a huge roller coaster of different emotions. Because at first, I felt exactly like Okabe, like, oh my god, it's Kurisu. You're alive, like, you're not a freaking program. And then when she had to remind us, like, yeah, like, I haven't seen you since we lost Mayuri, that slowly seeped into my mind, and I honestly felt sick just like him. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, this isn't the ideal world. Oh god, I gotta go puke.
that whole episode was just a huge sucker punch. Like, I know that a lot of it was anime original content. Because I played a bit of the VN before I came to watch this.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice, fam. Me too. Hey, what's up?
Hey, fellow VN player.
Yeah, is there multiplayer on there? You guys see each other in freaking VNs?
We took down. You actually play as the armed gun people, and you take down the lab together.
Yeah, man,
that sounds
it's
like
awesome.
a horrible game.
Yeah, that would be awful. But yeah, so yeah, I noticed that too. A lot of this was anime original content because this was like this was the biggest, like, this was the best scene in the visual novel for me. Like, this was the scene, and then they expanded on it really well.
Yeah, no, I really agree, actually. Like, I noticed it kind of diverging. I was wondering, is this like a route that I didn't play or something? But, no, it actually is just anime original, and there were a lot of things I really liked about this thing. I liked how Daru got that badass scene where he, like, takes Okabe out of the cafe and just kind of pushes him to the wall.
Yeah, I really liked that. It was it's cool because there's been a lot more of, like, Daru being kind of the rock that holds the lab members together, and that was a really cool, like, responsible thing for him to do, to be like, hey dude, like, you can't do this, you made your choices, and, like, now we're here, you can't just pull this shit.
Well, I've been kind of finding that Daru actually has been a little bit not stale but stagnant, just because he hasn't really moved in terms of character very much. Even if he has just kind of been subtly keeping people together. But that moment, that really kind of cemented him for me as one of my favorite characters so far in the series. That might change. Just because he can be badass when he wants to be.
Yeah, I found that he was, like, taking on the comedic relief role, like, even in this series. Yeah, that's what I felt too.
You're just doing all your weird otaku jokes. You know, we don't really have to pay attention to you too much until, you know, your feelings get hurt, which was always, it was a really good scene for both of them. Using his good big man strength to use, finally.
Seriously. I was kind of wondering if Daru actually had the strength to follow up his size, because he is a big person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to like dab on him more, those suspenders do not help. They are not flattering.
No, they're not.
I just cannot get over them. That's like the weirdest outfit choice, and I don't understand how he did that.
Biker gloves.
But
it's supposed to look. I think it's supposed to look more formal, but it's a weird outfit choice, especially because he keeps the same baseball cap.
Yeah, Daru, just don't do this. Don't do this. It's not good. But yeah, anyway, I agree. That was a really cool addition to the scene because, I guess if people were wondering, like, in the visual novel, the scene actually takes place, like, probably, like, 5 minutes game time. Like,
yeah, it's really short.
Yeah, like, they don't leave the lab and they have the whole conversation of like, yeah, like it's really extreme. Like Okabe shows up, and then Kurisu was actually building the time travel microwave, and then she convinces him there to go back, and like it all happens within the lab. Like there weren't days that went by they didn't visit Mayuri's grave. Like there was
really.
Yeah, it was. Wow. This was like low key a filler episode, but it's not filler. You know, it's like they just added anime original content to this one scene, and it was really cool because I think this was the most powerful scene in the visual novel for me. But they just made it like the most powerful like episode.
So they pushed it beyond its limits of powerful, like Super Saiyan.
It was a huge risk, honestly. Like going out of the way to just make a whole filler episode, because it probably was meant partially to help with pacing, but I think centering it around reminding us of the grief of losing Mayuri is a really smart move, because it kind of reminds us it reminds us both of what Okabe has to lose by not going into the time machine again back in his own timeline, and also of what he has to gain by meeting Kurisu again, which was in the visual novel.
Yeah, and I thought of it as like it was kind of a little date too, you know what I mean? Because the fact that I like to argue that we're not getting enough Kurisu in this entire anime. This was basically something for almost everyone in the community. Like, here's your last episode with the real Kurisu. Enjoy every second of it. And honestly, I did. Because, you know, the banter on the train, you know, her usual remarks, and every second she was talking, I'm just like, God, I miss this. You know what I mean? And so I kind of felt the same way when he was like reluctant to leave. He's like, no, I can't. You're right here, but we also are missing someone as well. So it was almost like a choice we also had to endure with Okabe as well. So I was feeling it. I was like, dude, I don't want to go. But you're right.
I felt the same way. I agree.
Yeah, I think we commented in an earlier pod about how we really feel that the show is making us feel the same way Okabe does in a lot of ways, like remembering Kurisu, and now, like as you said, like we really feel the weight of that choice, because I think it's probably easy to watch, not easy, but like you can get caught up in the first couple episodes of this and think, you know, like maybe it wouldn't be so bad to just trade Mayuri for Kurisu, you know, like if it's hurting Okabe so much, why doesn't he just do it and like, you know, be with Kurisu if he can't really function? But it's a nice reminder that he also can't really function without Mayuri.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hinted at this, like, it's almost more extremely taking a toll on him. Because I noticed that they added that thing about adding a GPS to his phone. And they were very cryptic about that. And I'm pretty, like, 99% sure that's them hinting at Okabe tried to kill himself.
Yeah, I kind of like joked to my friend, and it's in there just in case he thinks the roof is a really fun place to hang out for a little while, but then I realized, that probably is the real reason why.
Yeah, like, I don't really remember if that was... I don't think they brought that up in the VN, so, like, there's no way to confirm, but, like, we did see that one scene in the original series where he just, like, kind of wanted to jump in front of a car and end it all, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was, like, driven to the point of suicide and they had to, like, keep tabs on him without trying to...
Or maybe there was a history in that world line, because remember he was still trying to find out what was that kind of what was his self on that timeline trying to do, because they were saying you never visited the lab in a long time, we never see you in Aki, and you stayed at Mayuri's grave almost for the longest time, and so seeing him again for so long, they were probably thinking to themselves, like, oh, he's probably saying his goodbyes. He's probably going to off himself, so we got to kind of watch him, you know? He's doing something a little abnormal at this very moment, so we should keep our eyes on him. Which is a good way to interpret this entire thing with them interacting with him. Because, yeah, he's with his friends, but it's not a reunion. Basically, Mayuri gone kind of broke everyone apart, and it hurts. It really does.
Yeah, that's a good note, because they were mentioning, like, even from the small scene we see of, like, Daru and Kurisu's conversation, where she's like, hey, you haven't called me in a while. Like, it's a nice reminder that, like, Mayuri was the heart of the lab. And we can see that in the majority of the Steins Gate Zero anime thus far, that Mayuri keeps everyone together. She holds Christmas parties.
Yeah,
she holds,
she's always wanting to do stuff with everyone. And, like, with her gone, it's, you know, I'm not saying no one else could take up that spot,
but I must imagine that leaves the biggest empty feeling for everyone, not just including Okabe.
It definitely it's definitely kind of the biggest role to fill for anyone, and even then, if someone tried to fill it, not everyone would actually come back.
Yeah.
You just see that you see that picture inside the room of the lab, or hell, like, I'm surprised that the lab is still even there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Kurisu went to, a different spot, or like, we all moved out there, no one goes to the lab anymore. But when she was still there, I was kind of surprised at that too. But I guess she probably holds a lot of sentimental value there because, like, it's a lab, she's smart, so she's building stuff, so she might as well do it there where she used to kick.
Yeah, because they showed her still in her her hotel room, I think. So it's like she really is just there for sentimental reasons.
Yeah, and she's still working with Maho and Leskinen at the university.
I love that addition so much that they actually have like Kurisu commenting on Maho and Lenshiken. Like, that was so cool to see them on the train and actually have her comment on them because, we like never see her talk about them in the original, and then we don't see her talk about it in the visual novel because that scene was only 5 minutes. So that was just such a cool move. I respect that so hard because they made it like, that felt so natural. Like, yeah, she'd talk about her colleagues back in America and stuff.
Yeah, that was super fan servicey in a good way for people who read the visual novel and might not have seen that before.
Yeah. I think it's just like I'm not really the person to really like jerk off studios, so to speak, but I just really want to give like White Fox a huge shout out for that because as we know, like, source readers can be very like, what's the correct what?
They can be super super.
Yeah, picky and like rabid. Like, if it's not adapted to the T, they freak out.
They left out that one facial expression, and that was supposed to like project their relationship up to a new level. Like, do chill. Yeah, chill.
Yeah, I've literally seen complaints over facial expressions recently.
Yeah,
and so like it really just shows, people had their misgivings about having a different director and like some new staff members, but I think this really shows that the people handling Steins Gate Zero really know like the source material well, they know the original series well, and they really know what the fans want, and they are really trying their best to make the best product. So that's huge props to them.
That's kind of like that last one's kind of the strongest point. Yeah, I think it's that they really know what made the original Steins Gate work, and they're doing their best with what they have with the source material to give the fans both what they recognize and what they originally liked, and also all this new stuff that they might not realize they like until they see it.
They're giving them what they want and what they need.
So what you're saying is, myself as just a strictly anime watcher for this series, I'm getting the better experience than most visual novel readers.
I'd say so.
Ha! Yeah, me too.
I'd say so.
Eden, what's up? Let's go. Feels good to be on this side, huh?
I know the reason I stopped playing the visual novel was because I didn't want to have to look at a walkthrough to think of like which routes I had to go through first and then make certain choices at certain times. Even though
I definitely did that.
God, yeah, no.
I do that when I'm completely tired and just like, okay, I just want to hit everything now.
Yeah, I'm like personally like, I mean, I love Steins Gate, but I'm not a huge like visual novel reader in general. I mean, I enjoyed the visual novel for this, but it was not without its problems. So I'm like a fan of the changes they've made thus far. I like it, just especially this episode. And if they keep it up, it's probably going to be a better experience than the visual novel for me. But that's just personally speaking. I won't like slay the visual novel. I just enjoy watching it.
The visual novel's fine. Like, it's good. I'm just not a visual novel kind of person. I think the only visual novels I read before Steins Gate were the Higurashi visual novels, actually, like the Wind Press stuff.
I heard good things about those.
I started from the beginning of those last year and I stopped. So yeah, but I love Higurashi. That's not what this episode's about, damn it.
Yeah.
We got a nice Higurashi plug though.
Yes.
Nice job.
Yeah, go check out Higurashi, guys. It's really good.
It's really cute.
That's all you're going to hear on it.
Nudge. Yeah, it's about cute girls and one dude. Nudge, nudge. It's totally innocent.
Nothing goes wrong at all.
Yeah, nothing goes wrong at all. It's great. But going back to going back to episode 7 when they were still recovering from almost getting killed, which was a little too quick. I'd be a little more traumatized if I was held at gunpoint, but they held that. Then again, like, Okabe has experience. That's one thing I'd laugh to myself. Like,
Okabe's kind of used to it.
This isn't his first holdup.
Yeah, like, at one point, like, the third time, he'll just be like, okay, guys, Broad, get in here. And the thing that I was kind of laughing about was the whole, the mystery helmet person who was in there, like, possibly pulling the strings. I'm pretty sure we all know who that was because... You know, they're all in that food mart together, and the one girl's like, oh, wait, what happened to your arm? And she's like, oh, yeah, I fell. And I was like, I've heard that one before.
See, like, I kind of thought it was, like, the mysterious female professor who appeared a few episodes ago. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's totally her, because she just appeared, and she needs something to do in the plot.
Yeah, because she had the stink eye.
Yeah, it'd be better actually if it was Daru's soon-to-be wife, because that would kind of complicate a lot of family matters down the road.
Yo, that would be not okay. You imagine Suzuha having to go up against her mom?
That's the one thing I laughed to myself, because if it's true that biker helmet girl was Daru's wife, in my mind I'm like, Suzuha, you kicked your mom super hard and she's hurting.
You slayed your mom.
Like, I laughed at the weirdest situation that at work. I was just like, you kicked her. Nice.
I feel like I'm just like straight up laughing at like, I'm like, oh, Okabe making another sad face, time to laugh. I mean, I really do feel for him, but like, I took a lot of screenshots for episode 8 because I'm gonna like make one of those into the background for what we're using. And there's just so many shots of him like sad, like more sad. Like
we legit need Hyo and Kyoma back. It's getting really depressing.
I mean, like, it's supposed to be depressing.
True.
But, yeah.
The depression intensifies. But dude, speaking of, like, not to cut off the episode 7 talk, but, like, when Kurisu was like, I need that Hoi and Kyoma back to be strong, dude.
That's that's right.
Dude, I can't get over, I was, like, so shooketh for this. It was like, I knew it was coming, but then I didn't know, and then I was still shook.
Dude, she misses him, like, everything about him, and it hurts.
We all miss him. Like, Ho and Kyoma gave us so many good reasons to watch the show when, like the original Steins Gate, when it was maybe in a bit of a lull, plot-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people, like, I mean, I think the majority of people like the Hoi and Kyoma personality because it's so ridiculous and funny. And they, like, you know, we know for the most part that, like, he's not actually that crazy. He's just, like, kind of joking with his friends. But, like, for the people who don't like Hoi and Kyoma, I wonder how they're feeling now. Like, we really appreciate him more in retrospect. So I hope those people who found him annoying realize that we just need more Hoi and Kyoma.
Hoi and Kyoma is good for the world in general.
And you could tell, like, he was so depressed about it because, you know, he even admitted, like, I just do that just for fun. That's not real me, you know? And it's like, dude, like, and in that moment, it's like, dude, we're really losing him now. You know what I mean?
Like, Hoi and Kyoma is straight dying right now.
Yeah, like, he's almost completely gone, and that's what made me hurt for him, because he's losing his mind so much to where he's like, no, I'm not this, I'm not some scientist, and it's kind of like, man, like, and then again, you can kind of understand because he lost someone dear to him, so I can only imagine anyone else in the world who lost someone else dear to them, like, you know, how would you act?
Well, yeah, like, you wouldn't really deal with a lot of the bullshit that you do in your regular life. You would kind of tone down. You would grieve.
Yeah,
and
you lose a part of yourself at some point.
Yeah,
and maybe you're alive.
It's super unfortunate, and it's really sad and effective. But I want more Hoi and Kyoma memes.
And Dr. Pepper.
At any point there's like some sort of...
We've seen no Dr. Pepper.
I know.
Some sort of big comeback, and Hoi and Kyoma just says the big catchphrase again, and he's like, Hoi and Kyoma, or whatever. That'll be the day that I jump up for joy, because it's going to be well deserved.
Yeah, I really feel like we have to earn that Hyo and Kyoma. Like, we're like put through the ringer to get that back. And it's very much what we need. Like, we gotta go jump through hoops for it. But I really love that scene, because they had a scene in the original Steins Gate of, like, Kurisu bringing up Hoi and Kyoma, and then him being like, that's all an act, like, that's not me, I'm just, like, I'm just a normal dude. And they kind of echoed that in this episode. Yeah, it was something around. I forget what episode it was, but it was closer to the second half when like Okabe was in full breakdown mode.
Well,
And,
they did a bit of echoing in this in episode 8 actually. There was a scene in the graveyard, and I'm kind of surprised I didn't see more people talking about this. But it was just a straight mirror where it's Kurisu looking at Okabe as he's like kneeling in the rain at Mayuri's grave, and it's like a direct mirror of Okabe when he saw Mayuri after her grandma died in the original series.
Yeah, great catch on that.
And I thought that was like
I didn't notice that.
Not as subtle as it was, as it actually was, but I still appreciate. I still really appreciate it because it's a nice little motif.
Yeah, that's a great catch, because that's what I was noticing too, where, and I think one of the more touching scenes in the original series was when, like, as you said, like, when Okabe sees Mayuri talking at her grandma's grave, and how she always, like, reaches up when she sees, like, that weird sun thing. It's like when it shines through the clouds, and then Okabe mirrored that in this episode, and he was crying, and it was really, and Kurisu was just watching him as he did that.
God, that was so sad.
Oh, yeah.
That was so sad, and then, like, it's so cool because, like, a big theme for Steins Gate for me is always, like, Okabe is going through all this suffering and no one really knows because he's kind of the, like, only observer of it. Like, he's the only one really seeing it. But for this episode, we got to see Kurisu observe him suffering and trying to, like, see it from her point of view and how she wants to do what she can to help him.
Yeah, and, like, and she did. Like, Kurisu is literally one of my favorite people in anime just because she manages to handle this really complex and depressing situation so well, even when her own life is on the line, even when he's like, you're going to die if you make this decision. And she's like, you know what? Screw it, I don't care. Go ahead,
like, can you imagine, like, just, like, thinking about it, like, can you imagine, like, you're in love with this person, and they love you too, but they're suffering so much, like, physically, mental health-wise, emotionally, that you have to convince them to go to a timeline where you're dead. Like,
God,
the mental fortitude that you'd have to do to convince someone to, like, disregard your happiness and his happiness just for his sake.
If you love him, you must let him go. Like, oh God,
yeah.
You're right.
It's, like, it's so brutal. I can't imagine that.
It's not even just, like, letting him go. It's convincing him to let her go.
Yeah.
As well as himself. I don't know. It's for both their sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think of it like that.
Yeah. That's just so brutal to me. Like, she's had to convince him to, like, put himself and Mayuri's happiness first and in, like, place of her own. It's just such strength that, like, I can't even fathom.
And when you think about it, like, Mayuri has no idea this is going on, so it's kind of like it's so much all going for her,
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're doing this all for Mayuri because she's a saint, and, like, we can't have her suffer as well. So it's kind of like, this between me and you, and we're gonna get this fixed up, just so everyone could be back to the way it was. We'll handle the suffering. So basically, it's like Jesus in both timelines. It's weird.
It's so insane. Like, I just respect it so much. I think, because I think, like, Kurisu is, like, I've seen some complaints that she doesn't really go through, like, a lot of development. It's like a time travel story, so they're kind of, like, undoing development for characters left and right besides Okabe. But I think it's, like, I think she develops enough, and I think the depth that she shows in, like, emotional maturity to be able to put Okabe's well-being before her and his happiness is just, like, outstanding from a...
Oh god, yeah, like, Kurisu is the kind of character who doesn't really need to develop much, just because she's already at the point where she can show off to the audience and she can have those badass moments right from the start, just by knowing someone else.
Damn, best girl right off the bat. I like it. That's a bold statement, my friend. I like it.
Boom! She doesn't need much, she's already there.
You heard it right here. Kurisu Best Girl right from the start.
She's
right from the start.
Yeah, she's perfect. And she's already got a best girl win under her belt. Hey!
Not wrong, actually.
Exactly.
But
go.
Wait, I want to talk about the one thing that I think, like, there's so much, like, sadness but also cuteness in this episode. What do you guys think of the text message she sent to herself, and then we see her running through to, like, try and confess to Okabe from her perspective.
Oh, the don't go in?
Yeah, the don't go in. Like, those extra
oh
seconds.
my God.
Extra seconds. Well,
That
with me right now, I forgot that's how it all went down. But I like to think of it as, because someone, I mentioned it on one of the threads when I was just like, damn, she didn't get to finish her sentence, and then someone responded to me. Shout out to High H. He said that it's as if that she actually did say her line all the way through. It's just that they didn't hear it. That's why it was like cut off. You know what I mean? Like, she got it out, but it was just mere extra milliseconds that they were already gone before she could even complete it.
Well, it's kind of painful to think that she actually had to send a message to herself to delay herself by a few seconds, because if she didn't, her saying that would have outright just caused Okabe to be like, you know what, screw it, screw all of this, I'm staying here in this depression-filled world and hoping to have what remains of a good life I can.
I think I took it in, like, either the wrong way or, like, maybe too funny of a way, but the way I took it was, like, in the original scene where she's running, she pauses outside the door, and she, like, doesn't want to go in immediately until she sees her phone, which says, don't come in, and then she runs in. So I thought she was almost playing, like, tsundere 3D chess with herself, because she knew that if she saw don't come in, that she would go in immediately. So I wasn't really sure. I mean, both of you guys have, like, probably much better readings on this, but I just, like the idea that she knows herself so well that she's like, if you tell me don't come in, I'm definitely coming in now.
Interesting.
That seems like a very Kurisu thing to do, even if it probably didn't happen.
No, I'm gonna rewatch this, but I have the idea of tsundere 3D chess in my head, and it's probably not.
At this point, it's almost like a game. Like, okay, what other things could we think about that we could have sent to her that would prevent her from going in? Like, I would have said things like, "Don't go in, he's naked." Oh wait, that would make her go in. I don't know. or something really like send news, and she'd be like, "What? Nice. There's the 5 seconds. You missed it." Like,
yeah.
Just keep getting more ridiculous.
It's like, wait, see, like, anything you say to her to try and, like, get in, if it's like send nude, she'd be so pissed that she'd barge through anyway.
Like, how dare
like,
you ask me such a thing? Oh my god, what?
What are you doing?
Like
Yeah.
Looks like any type of, like, comment to deter her from coming in will just make her go in. The tsundere, like, bait is too strong.
So you flip it, go, hey, come on in, it's open. Damn it.
The dare side is
she's
too
still
strong in
going
that scene.
Like, oh my god. That was such a great scene, too. Like, that was also just something they added. Like, they keep adding these great scenes.
Huh?
And, like,
watch her for life. Woo.
Steins Gate Zero has, like, a hard enough job as is, like, trying to add on to this already rock-tight ending. Airtight? Airtight. This airtight ending from Steins Gate. And the anime is just adding in more stuff on top of all that. Like, it's so cool. I really like how this show can be really creative with its universe concepts when it wants to be.
Yeah, it was so cool. Like, they didn't need it, but they did it anyway, and it was just so, like, it made it so much more impactful. I can't stop praising this episode. It's so good. It's probably, like, one of the best episodes of the year.
It's easily my favorite episode so far in Steins Gate Zero. And
yeah, definitely.
Probably one of my favorites of the year.
And as sad as the graveyard scene was, I was kind of on that side, like, I've in a different perspective. I was on that side of, just, I know we want you to go back, but we just need you to reconfirm that Mayuri is actually gone, because we do gotta snap him out of the whole, like, I'm pretty sure deep in his mind he must be thinking, there's gotta be a way to bring Mayuri back in this timeline. It's kind of that messed up way of saying, look, she's dead. Like, you just want to shake them big, dude. She's gone. So quit living in the past, all right? Like, she's gone. And so I was with that all the way when Kurisu brought him to the graveyard. I'm like, see, you need to, like, see for yourself and make amends right here, because I'm not going to see you again. So I can't have that thought in my mind thinking, man, maybe back in his own timeline, but he's still kicking himself just because Mayuri's gone, And the thing that sucked too is that when he looked back at the old logs of that timeline, Mayuri, like, got killed by a heart attack. I'm like, damn, that's what got her? all that dark stuff, and that's what gets her. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she probably didn't.
Oh.
She probably didn't actually die from a
No,
heart.
I think the point was he was saying was like
What?
his thing was like CERN wasn't even involved, and she still dies because in this timeline, like she's always gonna die at this certain point.
Yeah.
Like it's a. So his thing was like, he's freaking out because he's like, it wasn't even time machine related. She was just going to die no matter what, and it makes him feel even more helpless and out of control.
That sucks even more now. Like that's another display of damn, it's really beyond my power to really save my friend. You know, because look how much he did in the first season. Like, you know, it kept him with him. We ran in this direction, ran in that direction, whatever. And then this time there was no danger. It just popped.
Yeah,
like, hey, that's the way it is in this world. She's supposed to die right on this day, man.
And you know, like he really needs that whole kick in the pants. He really needs to understand what is at stake and what he doesn't have and what he could still potentially lose. Because in his actual timeline, in the Steins Gate Zero timeline, Okabe is running away by standing still. And that's not going to work out for very long.
Like, because we've seen him run away from things a lot, but he's actively, like, avoiding the biggest decision of his life by not making a decision. And that's been a constant thing with, like, in this timeline, we got a taste of it with Kurisu being like, yo, Okabe, have you made up your mind? But then we also have that, like, once he goes back, like, we still have Suzuha waiting on him to make up his mind and prevent World War III. So
that's true.
He's just, like, he's running away, like, from both without, like, intentionally, like, without intentionally doing an action. He's still doing something that's hurting the world and everyone around him.
So now that all this is behind us now, he knows that Kurisu's gone and Mayuri's back. What the hell do we do? What do we do about this group of people? Like, what's going on now? What do you guys think? I think my android theory is out the window now.
I'm sad to hear about that. That seems pretty airtight.
Yeah, well, that's just me going crazy. I don't know where to go from here on this, to be honest. Like, I'm really kind of lost now.
I'm no, like, it kind of depends on which world line we end up in when we get back, because
oh yeah, we never confirmed that. I bet he's gonna be in the war zone. He's gonna be like, oh god! The god still hates me, why?
Theoretically, we should be back in the same timeline as before, but that still means that Amadeus is gone. It still means that there's a weird group running around in the shadows. There's a lot of questions. I think we're probably going to get some more development with either Kagari or with like Maho and Amadeus, just because those seem like the next logical steps to take.
We haven't seen Professor Lekshin in a while.
I call him Mr. Handsome just because I can't really pronounce his last name.
Yes, okay, that's
the most accurate description.
I'm taking that one. Mr. Handsome.
He is my favorite part of this whole series.
Japanese shaman girls.
Holy cow!
Yeah, there's not much I could think of right at this moment. I think
this is like the first episode that hasn't ended in a cliffhanger. Like actually, the first.
Yeah, well,
the first non-cliffhanger.
I'd be so mad if it ended on a cliffhanger because that would have spoiled that entire heartfelt moment with
Yeah, it really would have.
Yeah.
You can't have that unless it's like an ending, like an ED theme, like transition thing. Like you can't have that be the beginning of an episode.
Yeah.
That would just destroy it.
Sadly, I would laugh. Like, okay, you got me. That's pretty funny. But like, I was in such a good mood at the end of that. At the end of that whole thing, that it felt like how the credits were rolling, and in my mind I was like, oh nice, it's as if the anime ended. All right, like you can stop right here,
pack it up,
and just hope for the best for the future, I guess.
Yeah, so let's just hope that they're not gonna die in this next episode. That's all I got. Let's just hope they don't die. I can't hope for anything else. We don't even know.
I have a feeling the child is gonna die. I don't know why, because he brought that up, Okabe, when he was talking about
Now you said that.
Well,
I'm kind of like...
Which child?
The young one. Mr. Braun's daughter.
Nah.
Bruh, no. Mr. Braun will not let that happen.
He better not, because that's the first thing. That was the first thing I was thinking about when Okabe went to confront him. It's like, dude, you're in some deep stuff right now. You're putting your daughter in danger. And even when he stood up, like, flexing on him, like, Don't you dare bring her into this. I'm like, am I wrong? Is he wrong?
I mean, like, so here's kind of like an on-the-spot theory, and also kind of something I hope for.
Right.
I think that Mr. Braun, maybe not Nye, but Mr. Braun is definitely going to die, but he's going to go out, hopefully, with, like, the CERN Rounders as his, like, small army, and in some sort of blaze of glory, because that seems like a very anime way to let a strong man die.
It's gonna be like heroic shootout, and he's just gonna take one for the team.
Maybe it's super unlikely, and I kind of think it is, but I kind of want to see it happen. That would be a fantastic death for me.
And his last lines were, "Okabe, get in the time machine, you pussy."
Jesus. I'm also worried about Daru getting with his wife now because, his daughter kicked his wife.
Yeah, and
I'm worried about Daru's game.
Yeah, Daru's game is so bad.
It's off.
Like, Daru, stop obsessing over legal lollies and get with your hot wife.
Daru, please. The fate of Suzuha is in your hands, and you're too busy playing dating sims. How do you do this to us?
Oh, that was another thing. Like, when during Daru's scene with Okabe against the wall, I actually said to my friend, you know what? If Daru of all people is telling you that there are certain things you can't say, you probably said something really shitty.
That's so true. Yep. Wait, that's so true. He's been saying so much random shit in the past couple episodes, and he's like, that's the line. We can't cross this.
It's like, oh, Maho, step on me. And then Okabe is like, maybe there's a world line where Mayuri isn't dead. And Daru's like, whoa, man, too far.
Dude, don't you dare say that in my presence. We could joke about lollies, we could joke about all this nerdy stuff. Don't talk about my best friend like that.
How dare you?
Yeah, I'm all out of theories. It's just, my only theory is that the daughter might die. I've been wrong already on this, so I might as well be wrong again. So let's hope I'm wrong.
Mr. Braun shootout, come on. This is my theory. I really wanted it to happen.
God.
Fingers crossed. We'll have to see.
He's so buff, too. And at first, when he came in and beat those guys up, I was just like, oh, nice. I'm glad this guy's on our side. But then when they find out he was a rounder, I was like, oh.
Yeah,
you ain't so buff. I'm not scared of you. Look at this guy. He looks like I completely flipped the switch. I was like, yeah, this guy's big and strong. I like him. He reminds me of me. Oh, you're a possible enemy. Man, you look kind of weak. Look at you, man. Looking kind of flat, huh? Yeah. You lost your hair too, and complete 180. But hopefully he's an ally. Yeah, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Well, I can't have predictions because I know what happens, but I like your predictions. So I want to hear the get in the time machine Okabe line, but I don't know if we'd get anything that soon.
I just want to see the future too, just the far future of how things are really going down.
Yeah, same. I'm kind of like I'm kind of going into this with the expectation that it's gonna go down the bad end. So like the bad end's gonna be the quote unquote good end in comparison, where Okabe does the stuff, then he sends the message back to himself, and everything is happy and okay.
Yeah, that's what I want. I mean, I think that's what we all want.
Yep.
That'd be nice.
I just know I'll be content with whatever ends up happening, at least in the next couple episodes, because, we got Kurisu in the episode. We got a Kurisu episode. Not even a Kurisu scene. Kurisu episode.
Kurisu episode.
I'm happy.
And someone made another point on one of the Reddit threads saying, see, in one episode, Kurisu was able to cement the fact once again that she's the best girl of this anime. And I'm like, point taken. Like, that's a very good point.
The best thing is the follow-up comment that was like, yeah, she took back the spot from Amadeus.
Fair enough.
And they're so true. Yeah. So take that, Moz. Best Girl is back for the episode.
Wait a minute.
And now we...
Question. Since you're in charge of the Best Girl contest, I'm under the assumption that people are going to start submitting Amadeus as Best Girl. Are you going to nullify that or not?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Okay.
You can't do that. Best Girl is one. We don't need, AI of Best Girl.
Let's be honest here. Even Okabe said that Amadeus can't hold a candle to the real Kurisu.
Good man. I see he's a man of culture. Love it. I just get irritated when there's, clones of multiple girls of the same girl going into the best girl contest. I'm just like, you can't do that. Like Senjo Gahara
Well,
and Senjo Gahara with her hair cut off. You can't do that. It's one or the other.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. But that'll be fun. We'll be talking about Best Girls soon enough. So hopefully everyone listening to that will tune in to hear us talk about that.
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
We have a pretty hyped guest for that, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, who's that guest?
I didn't say who. I just said I'm pretty hyped. So
yeah, it's just gonna be Alphabets again. That's the hype guest.
Hey guys.
Yo, I'd be hyped.
Yeah,
I'd be hyped.
My opinions are still here. I'm commenting about Best Girl.
That's true.
Well, that's all I have.
That's all I
for
have
this week.
Yeah, same.
So still recovering, but yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, well, hopefully we won't be too shooketh for next time. But thank you for joining us, Alphabits.
Yeah.
You've been a great guest.
Yeah. Thanks so much
Truly
for
the
having
alpha of all guests.
This was very fun. Thanks for having me.
And a man of culture. Look at this guy.
And a man of culture.
I respect your opinions and your taste in Best Girls.
Okay, that's a lie. That's a total lie, right?
I know you're right. That's a lie.
God, I hate you and everything you stand for, sir. Good day.
And on that note, we will talk to you guys again in 2 weeks about more Steins Gate. So have a good day.
Enjoy your world line.
See ya.